Today's video is going to be about knobs. Yes, gear knobs. You may call them stick shifts where you're from, but in Britain they're knobs, they're gear knobs, gear sticks. As you can see, this one is so worn that the dial has fallen off. It's been rubbed off completely. I can only just vaguely see an imprint if I look very closely. But it's annoying because when I'm driving at 170 and I look down and glance at my knob, I need to know which gear I'm in. I need to be 100% sure that I'm in top gear, not wasting fuel in revving high. Yeah, I've got a good idea which gear I'm in, but it's important to know. So there I am, thinking about making a new knob. And of course this is a casting, one of the ones that first came out. It's not great, but as you can see, it's got a metal thread in there. It's got a painted dial, which is indented and painted. And that's the master. So the master is the copy of the original, really, which I used to mould the shape originally. And this is the mould. It's a standard 2-part silicone mould, and it's surrounded by a jacket, a 3D printed jacket, which you can download for free on Thingiverse if you just look for my page. But the key, the real secret to doing this, is this nut. You need to find a nut of the same diameter and the same pitch, and then screw it onto the negative silicone thread part. And this is because the actual resin plastic isn't strong enough to really tighten well enough on the gear shaft. So it needs metal. Now all I do once I've placed that nut onto the silicone is look for the location nodules on the mould, so I know which way around this is supposed to go. And I fill that with resin and I dunk it in and leave it, and once I pull it out, of course the nut stays inside that resin, hard resin body. And then to remove the gear stick, I just simply open that part and take out the gear. Now with something like this, a jacket is really important because it helps you minimise the amount of silicone you're using, because silicone's quite expensive and 3D printer filament's quite cheap. So the jacket keeps everything really rigid. It keeps the shape together. It stops that rubber silicone flopping about when you pour the resin into the cavity. Now here's the actual gear stick that I'm using now. As you can see, it's got an indented but unpainted dial. I can never rub that off. The stick is more glossy than the original. As you can see, the original has a leatherish finish and it's got stitching around it. So I have modified it a little bit to remove that stitching and leather. But the actual gear stick still remains fairly original. You know, by looking at this from a distance, you can see that it is the original gear stick. And I did shop around before I did this. I looked around for anything that was cheap and available and just easily replaceable, but of course there's nothing like that for the type of car that I've got. All I could find were these silly skeleton type novelty ones and aluminium boy racer types. Now it would work, but it just wouldn't suit the car. It's a family car, you know, so it's nothing special. So here we are. If you want to do this, if you want to go to the trouble of making your own knob, then all the files are available for free. Thanks for watching.